Test, test. Hey guys, welcome. So this is actually a live stream. It's a live stream I'm filming every Monday at 7. So most of you guys, I understand there's probably not going to be a whole lot of people tuning in right away in the live stream. But I will be posting every Monday at 7 and getting in a routine. So if you wanted to tune in, you find this video after the live stream, tune in on Mondays and you can actually leave comments as I'm going through different topics on planning your wedding or like giving advice. I can even answer questions during the live stream. So it's kind of the purpose of this live stream, kind of my goal with doing this. So let's kind of jump right in and kind of get into the topic. So I want to make these pretty quick for the most part. So make sure you guys tune in right at 7. Probably maximum, ideally would be half an hour, but if we have like a really good topic, we could really talk for maybe an hour or so. But yeah, I mean, at first, I want to keep these pretty quick because I doubt there's going to be a whole lot of people kind of tuning in at first. And this is like my first videos I'm really posting on this channel that have any kind of value to you. Most of the videos I just post are like portfolio pieces, stuff like that. And this company rebranding is pretty new, so I don't have a whole lot there. So yeah, let's kind of jump right in. So kind of finding your wedding venue is kind of the first step when planning a wedding, essentially. So I'm going to go over that, and I'm also going to go over the like videography and photography, like finding the right videographer and photographer for your wedding. So it's kind of like, I can kind of share my screen as I do that, and we'll kind of go over it together. But let's get started really quick. I just wanted to talk to the camera just a little bit. So really what one of you looking for with venues is going to be like, this is like a very general part of the video, by the way. I did make a video, I'm about to post it on this whole subject. I'll dive a little bit deeper in each of these points. But when you're looking for a venue, you want to really see what's included. Do they have, like, what kind of vendors do they have, stuff like that. 2, the capacity of the wedding venue and how many people it can hold, because how many people do you want to invite? Because you always end up, I feel like, adding people in as you go. At least when my wife and I were planning our wedding, that's kind of what we did. Oh, and I forgot to introduce myself. I am Brandon. I'm with Modus Weddings, and I'm a videographer and photographer. So I'm mainly more on the video side, but I do have photographers I work with all the time. My wife also shoots photography from time to time. And I would love to shoot more photos at weddings, but I'm always getting hired for photography and videography, or just videography typically. So I'm always like the main video shooter because I really trust myself to perform in that aspect and be there for all the important video moments. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a rundown of myself. Pretty outdoorsy, like to run. I do video production full-time as my full-time job as well, and then also run this wedding photography, videography business. So this next year, my goal is really to slow down the weddings, not shoot as many as I did previously, because that's kind of what I was starting to do for my full-time job. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of the other direction I want to go. So I started doing more like a corporate style videography. So that's kind of where I lie with videography, and I love weddings and I love doing them, and I want to continue to do them. So let's kind of dive right back in. But capacity, yeah, really important. You could be inviting people to, like, I don't even remember how many we planned on. I think we were, at one point, we're like, oh yeah, we can, like, I think 60 or something, and then it ended up being, like 80, 100. We invited over 100 people probably. Not saying that 100 people showed up, because not everybody that you invite shows up, so keep that in mind as well. Make sure you get those RSVPs and you bug those people for them. And then you're really, mention it multiple times, have like an email list that you're going to send the RSVPs to, and then bug them again, like send another, same list. You can blind carbon copy everybody so they can't reply to each other. But try to get those RSVPs. If you can get it on the website, that's great, but even if you just get it through email can get lost though, so be careful with that. So just kind of going from a little out of experience here with planning my own wedding, and then also I see a lot of weddings, I work a lot of weddings, so I'm around weddings all the time. So, but yeah, let's kind of dive right back in. Budget, kind of like what's your budget? I mean, that's very broad, but again, with the vendors, if they're included, that's great, because then maybe that reduces the budget, or maybe it doesn't reduce the budget. You got to shop around a little bit and kind of see that. But a lot of venues, like our venue that we chose, which is Pinecrest, they had a lot of things included. Like they had DJ cake, catering, all included. It's like per account on heads, and there's like a really good bundle that was all kind of together. And we also like a day of coordinator, and it was awesome. And like she planned or helped plan our wedding and everything like that. So those are the things kind of look for. And then let's see, where was I? Amount of weddings they do, and then like time limits and times and stuff. So if you have like a wedding factory or like wedding, like that just pumps out a bunch of weddings, be careful of those. I mean, because those can really bite you in the butt. I'll go more to that in that one video. So I'm gonna link that video in the description below as well, so you guys can access that video when it's finished. So it's gonna be probably a couple days after this video, just so you guys know. But yeah, there's like time limits, weird time limits on all the venues, so watch out for that. And then 4 is it's kind of like 0.5 already, but I only have 5 points listed on here, but I kind of kept talking. I talk really fast, by the way, just so you guys know, because I'm trying to get a lot of information to you guys very quickly. Day of coordinator, which I mentioned earlier, is very helpful to have. So make sure you kind of inquire about that and see about that. So you're not paying somebody maybe outside the venue. I don't know. Maybe you found a really good day of coordinator outside the venue. So those are lots of options to look at. Getting ready space and general spaces. Really take into account what you want to do. Like we really wanted a really good dance floor because we really like to dance, so we wanted a big dance floor. So that was one of our big make or break things with our venues when we were kind of looking at venues. So Pinecrest had a pretty big dance floor, and also they can move some of the tables. But it was pretty big already because they didn't fill up the whole place. Unless you have a huge wedding, I could see that maybe filling the whole place. But yeah, for the most part, and then most venues will move the tables, ask them about that after dinner and stuff like that. Because then you have people who they're starting to mingle around and everything as well. But a lot of weddings, if your family's not really into dancing, or your friends aren't really into dancing, or they're not really outgoing, maybe don't get rid of a whole lot of tables because they're gonna want to sit and that's all they're gonna want to do. I really recommend though, like if you can start making people take dance classes and stuff, do that because it's a lot of fun to go out there and just dance and enjoy. Like we had cornhole too, and like you can have those games there and everything like that. So I think I talked enough about wedding venues because you guys can check that out on that video I'm about to post. So check out that video. It's gonna be linked below in the description. So let's kind of dive right in and actually go over maybe some venues that I'm familiar with and I've shot at and that we looked at when we were planning our wedding. So I'm trying to remember all these venues, so bear with me. It's all up here. I haven't written them down or anything, so we're gonna kind of go off the cuff. So we're gonna start with the venue that we chose, which is Pinecrest, and we'll go from there. So I'm gonna go to their actual websites and we'll check all those venues out. So let me just switch over here so you guys can see, and I'm gonna put myself in the corner here. All right, so you guys can still see me, and now you can see my computer screen as well. All right, so let's kind of dive right in. Just go, I think it's the Historic Pinecrest. So I actually shot my first wedding. So I think we booked our wedding here first, and then I actually shot my first wedding here as well, which is super exciting. I'll link that video in the description below. I don't like to show it a lot because it's bad. But you guys can kind of see it. I also shot another wedding here. I think I've shot here 3 times, maybe once for another person. I don't remember, so fully. So here's like a couple photos of the venue. You have this nice little steeple. Nice little chapel inside. Let me see. Wow, you need to put more photos up. Gallery. Let's go to the gallery. So you got this is the indoor portion. So like we got married in July. So it was very kind of like overcast, and it actually rained a little bit at the end of our ceremony, but we had this option to go into this indoor space to get married. So if this is the outdoor space, you can see that mountain right in the back. This is a horrible picture of it. I mean, it probably looks like it's taken on a phone to me. You can see that's that same thing, but that one was way too dark. You couldn't even see it. Here's like the groom's lounge place, the bridal suite area. Bridal suite's pretty big, which is nice. It has lots of mirrors and stuff like that. You have these really cool foresty areas. They really desaturated their greens in these photos. I mean, you could like that style. I think it looks a little bit fake and it's not going to be timeless. So that's something I'll get into with the photography portion of this video. But yeah, that's kind of like a general idea of Pinecrest. Make sure you guys check out the venue. See, this dance floor is huge. So that's what we liked about that. But yeah, that's kind of a general idea. They really could have better. They don't have a great thing of the outdoor venue. Like, this is facing the wrong way. You actually get married over here, and then you get married over here on this concrete, and then, yeah, I don't know. I guess you could get married over there. Like, just tell them to switch it around. But yeah, actually, you got like some nice greenery in the back right there. So yeah. And then pricing, customized pricing packages. They do, oh, here we go, per person, $52 to $92. It really depends on your catering, stuff like that. All-inclusive luxury, you're going to do $72 to $134 a person. So we invited, like 100 people. Not 100 people showed up. Not 100. I don't think 100 people RSVP'd, but we were close. We were like 80 something. So we ended up, yeah. I mean, like I think we ended up spending total, like all said and done on the wedding, like over $10,000 or something like that, which is not super expensive for weddings. If you think that $10,000 is expensive for a wedding, well, it's not. After all is said and done, you'll easily be above $10,000 typically. Unless you do like an elopement. Even then, if you're going to hire a photographer and videographer, you're already looking at an officiant, and you're already looking at multiple thousands of dollars right there. If you want to hire a good officiant, good photographer, good videographer, so stuff like that. So again, we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. Wedgewood, so Boulder Creek is one of my favorite. And you guys, I mentioned all of these in my video. And in my video, so you guys can check that out. Again, be posted in a couple days and be in the description below when I do post that. So Boulder Creek by Wedgewood. Let's go to the website. Wedgewood can be a little bit annoying because it's very corporate, but actually I feel like they do a pretty good job, especially at this venue. And this one's gorgeous in terms of like this is like the outdoor patio part. Awesome, loved it. The flashes bounce really nice off there for photography. And then you can also get married if you have a smaller wedding. Down by the creek, there's like this is like a path, and it goes all the way over here into like this nice little venue for the outdoor wedding. This is the other one. If you have a bigger wedding, you're on top here, and the river's right below those trees right there. So here's another portion down by the river, and this is like on the other side of this is where you would actually get married if you get married down by the river. So this has a lot of things included. They have preferred vendors, stuff like that. Capacity, even has capacity on here, is 250. If you're looking for maybe dealing with one company when in your wedding search, Wedgewood would be a good one because they have like the Tapestry House, which is another great one. I didn't like Brittany Hill a whole lot, which is in Thornton. Tapestry House is further up north. You have Black Forest down by the springs. You have another one down by the springs, which is Creek Side, I think. I can't remember. I've shot at it before. But again, yeah, a lot of options. So if you're looking for to just deal with one company, this would probably be the way to go. And they're going to give you all that spam stuff. Okay, let's move on. Let me think here. What is one of my other favorite ones in Colorado? See, I'm having a hard time remember. See, Spruce Mountain's pretty sweet. I think it's a little bit more pricey. And they're just so spread out, and it's more of like a ranch feel. So that's another good one. We're gonna check that one out. It's actually, yeah, Spruce Mountain Ranch. So you got a couple options here, a lot of options actually. There's like multiple places to get. They do multiple weddings a day typically. So yeah, I mean that's kind of something to keep in mind. You have this beautiful waterfall. I hate how they did this little pass effect. It looks like everything's too dark. I wish they would have just brightened this up a little bit, and because they did this when they put this on the website, I bet you. So, but yeah, here's one of the locations. I've only shot at one of the locations here. This part right here. This is where I did the reception here, and then they got married out on the actual ranch part, which was pretty cool. And then your getting ready areas are decent. They're kind of really close to each other, and like if you walk outside, you can see inside the guys' lounge area. And then like the girls are upstairs, and if you walk in the reception area, you almost look upstairs and see the girls' reception area. So not a great like for hiding away, honestly. Oh, right, we just missed it. The part where their ceremony was. But you have these really cool, like I've actually run up here in these bluff things. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a great place to maybe go on a hike before your wedding and stuff like that. I really like the monument area, which is also where Pinecrest is. This is like right next door. Love this area. It's like these plains and like beautiful mountains around and trees and rivers, and I mean it's amazing. So look at that. They got a close up on a cow there. That was insane. Okay, but yeah, that's gonna be it for the venues. I'm gonna go back to my regular screen here, and I'm just gonna talk really quickly now because I'm running out of time and I've already gone probably long enough. It looks like I'm already at almost 30 minutes. I mean, a lot of those just sitting here. But let's kind of dive into like finding the right videographer and photographer. So let's first off, I mean, you probably have like a budget. If you don't have a budget, great. Then you are way ahead, and you like not maybe ahead, but like it's gonna be way easier to find a photographer and videographer. You just gotta find the one you like. So, some really important things to keep in mind. Yes, you're looking at photos and you're looking at videos, and like you're looking at like how beautiful a photo is or a video is. But it's gonna be really important to. I might split these into two separate videos. So, when looking for the proper wedding, I'm going to kind of restart here. When looking for the proper wedding photographer or wedding videographer, it's really important to make sure. What was I going to say? I'm totally spacing now. Okay, there's a lot of factors when you're looking for the proper wedding photographer and videographer. So essentially, when you're looking for this photographer and videographer, you want to make sure that you're falling within that proper budget or price range that you have, but also keep in mind maybe you're going to have to try to break that budget if you really want the right one for you. For example, Modus Weddings, so the company that I'm with and that I own, we like to do a lot of free engagement sessions if we have time. So if we have time, we like to do that so you can really try out our service, get to know us, to see if we're going to be a good fit. Because last thing I want is us not to be a good fit, and then like it's just awkward on the wedding day, or just something's different. So that's one thing to look out for. A lot of photographers, I feel like, are going to try to charge you for an engagement session, and then videographers don't do a whole lot of engagement sessions because a lot of people know that's a thing. But videography for engagement session is awesome because you can send like a video invite. To all your family members and friends, which is like a little bit more personal in my opinion, because then you can also do like, I'd like to do a little interview section that talks about how you got engaged, and then like maybe if you wanted to say something to the people you're inviting, we could do stuff like that. So I really like to kind of make it very personal to the couple, and I like to shoot very natural interactions that feels like you. So that's another thing to really watch out for, is you want to make sure that your photographer and videographer, like if their poses all look the same and they're all very posy, like sometimes you can kind of tell. If you're not about that and you want it to be more natural and all about like how you are as a person, then and you are as a couple, make sure you kind of steer clear of those really kind of posy looking videographers. Photographers, sorry, even videographers, honestly. Some photographers are going to like literally make you hold poses for a long period of time. It drives me absolutely crazy because I'm a video person. So like, it's really weird to see somebody like, and on video, like, does this look normal? No, it does not. So this looks a lot more normal when I'm actually talking to the camera. I'm having motion and interaction. And even in photos, you can kind of tell when somebody's doing that. So I highly recommend, that's one of the biggest points. If you're all about like, I want somebody to just tell me exactly what to do, and I just sit there and I don't want to do anything, then those are the types you want to look for. But if you are more of the type that I like to shoot with, then you want to make sure like you look for that photographer, videographer who's going to be letting you guys be yourselves. And kind of like what I like to do sometimes is I'll start like making them do fun little poses that are very interactive, and then I'm going to kind of like take a step back and just like they start goofing off. And they're like, the couple doesn't even think I'm recording them, but I'm like getting grabbing all of them. Like, this is the gold right here. This is like them. So this is what I want to capture. So make sure that, I guess you just find that right the right balance that you're kind of looking for, and really kind of assess like who you are and kind of who would fit that persona of you and your fiance. So that's, again, why it's probably important to also try out your photographer and videographer before you book the wedding. You can do a couple engagement shoots, like do 1, 2, especially if you're like free engagement shoots like I do. Like try out a couple maybe, or maybe you find it in the first try and like, this is the person. This is the person I want to shoot my wedding, and for photography or for videography. Hit up some videographers and see if they want to shoot an engagement shoot. I mean, it's gonna be harder to find them, but at least meet with them over video or coffee or something like that, to really get to know them and make sure you're picking the right photographer, videographer. Some things to kind of consider in terms of like pricing. Okay, some things to consider in terms of pricing. There's gonna be a lot of things that you might be adding on afterwards. So take that into account when you book the package. And you might actually run into some more money down the road. So you can always add those things in later, or you can like talk to your videographer or photographer and be like, hey, I don't have the money right now, but maybe in a year after the wedding, maybe for anniversary, I buy the raw footage, or because you can add on a lot of stuff, like the photo books that I like to compile sometimes. So making sure that you get everything that you want on the day. So like a lot of things that you can't get necessarily like after the days pass would be like drone footage. So you can't obviously get drone footage done after the day. I mean, I guess you kind of could. You kind of just have them fly over the venue, but that's not the same thing. It's not the same day. Yeah. So that's kind of, I guess, the points. You get the point, right? So moving on. It's really, kind of see I'm getting a little nervous trying to think of things. This is all live. It's hard for me to shoot live sometimes, but you might be watching this not live, so it's a little more nerve-wracking. Oh, and making sure you click with the videographer and the photographer. Like, they should be able to make you feel pretty comfortable in front of a camera. I mean, you should almost forget the camera's there, and the videographer or photographer should probably be maybe interacting with you a little bit. Maybe not a whole lot, because it's like all about you two. I don't like to step on toes too much. I kind of like to be like a fly on the wall, but then like if they need a little help, I'll go in there and help them with something, even if it's non-photo video related. Like they need, I don't know, sometimes I carry stain wipes, for example. So like they get to drop something on the dress or drop something on the suit, and then they can use a little stain wipe. That's like things I'll kind of come in really quick and be like, hey, here's a stain wipe. Ooh, funny bone. Not so funny. Now I lost train of thought. I was gonna make another point about. I cannot remember now. I just totally lost it right there. I just got this part out. Oh, have they shot the venues before? So that's another thing that might help out a little bit, because if you know they're very familiar with the venues, could give them more shooting options, stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, and make sure they're very like. What I like to look for like, this is more of like a videographer thing, but like just make sure you like their style. Like that's foremost. It's gonna be very important. But then also make sure like for example, I like to like ask your videographer, like, do you let us pick the music? So that's actually a pretty big deal for some people. But keep in mind, they're dealing with like royalty-free music and stuff like that. So if they say yes, I can just get whatever song you want and put it in the video, they're lying to you, because they can't. They're gonna get sued, or you're gonna get sued. So don't go that route. Trust me. But there are some royalty-free music sites that I even use where I can pull some mainstream music, but it has to be certain mainstream music. It has to be on the site. So if it's on the site, then we're out of luck. But if it's on the site, then I can just pull whatever song, and normally I end up paying like an extra $40, and I just take that hit. So I don't even worry don't worry the couple about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna do that because it's gonna make this really cool video, and it's gonna be to this mainstream music. I'm all about that. So I don't charge my clients extra for that. Let's say they want a bunch of mainstream music, or they want like a very specific song that's not on any of my sites, and I'm gonna have to like go and contact some people. Then you're looking at probably paying hundreds to thousands of dollars for that one song for your wedding video. So that's something to keep in mind. Royalty-free music can be very tricky. But yeah, and then also just kind of seeing how like asking them like how do you shoot these different events throughout the day? So like, for example, like how do you shoot the ceremony throughout the day? Is going to be very important. Or how do you shoot the what was I going to say? How do you shoot the reception throughout the day? Or like when we're on our first dances, how do you shoot that? Just getting some details. Like this is stuff that most people probably wouldn't want to explain to them. So a lot of your photographers, videographers aren't going to explain that to you in huge detail. But one thing you really want to be concerned about is how intrusive they are. If you don't want people right up on you, I've literally seen photographers feet away during the ceremony taking pictures of like the hand, like your hands, or when you're putting the rings on and stuff like that. They're literally just like right on top of them taking pictures. I'm like, what are you guys doing? It drove me crazy. I was like, that is so intrusive. This is their moment. Like, you should have the telephoto lens to be able to zoom in on that. I mean, it's not going to be the same angle, but still, it's going to be good enough for the couple without intruding on their date. I'm not about intruding on the couple's day. So I like to keep a fair distance back, especially during the ceremony, so I'm not right up in everything. And you have some photographers who shoot on the opposite side, like, and get the crowd, which is cool for maybe 1 shot, 2 shots max. But then you have the videographer or the other photographer, or like a photographer back here, or you have a videographer shooting this way. Now you guys, like, you're having conflicts. So you really got to make sure that your photographer and videographer work well together. That's also why I like to book it from the same company. So I actually use the same company to book both my photography and my videography so that there are no conflicts. Like, they work together, they have the same goal, the same plan. So booking within the same company is great. And that's why we offer that. And that's why I try to find really good photographers who are maybe better than myself at photography to kind of take. I don't think I've really found that yet, but I'm looking. I'm searching everywhere. I found a guy who's pretty good though. So hopefully he can help me out a lot more. But I'll hire out some photographers. There was this one girl I hired. She's probably better than me. Now she is. So yeah, I mean, like I'll scour and find photographers, but if not, I always have my photographers, and most of my portfolios all built on like my wife taking photos. I rarely take photos, but if you guys want to book me for photography, I'm all down. I really want to just go to a wedding and just shoot photos, not have to worry about video. I'm always shooting video. Again, I shoot video because that's like, in my opinion, is the most important thing. And when I ask couples what they're like what the biggest regret is from their wedding day, like my friends or like people I just met, and they tell me that they have a wife, or like I meet them, the husband wife together. I'm like, ask if their wedding comes up, then I ask them what the biggest regret is, and it's typically that they didn't hire a videographer. So videography is super important. I'm gonna go on a limb here and even say videography is more important than your photography. So I would say find your videographer first, then your photographer, and a lot of videographers are offering photography as well, because videography and photography, it translates pretty well. Like, if you understand videography, you typically understand how to take photos as well, because you're taking moving photos versus still photos. But photographers typically have pretty good composition. Like, very dedicated photographers are very good with composition. But a videographer can be the same as well. I don't know, a photographer can be a good videographer, but I rarely see it the other way. I see normally it's like videographers book both, but then photographers typically don't book both. But the guy who shot my wedding is mainly a photographer who also does videography on the side as well. So there are those options. There's tons of options out there. Hopefully you guys can find that. And I think I'm going to call it good for this video. I gave you guys tons of useful information for finding a videographer, photographer. Really, those main points again, just making sure that they are able to work with you. You want to try them out or like meet them in person before you go through with the wedding. If it's last minute, you guys waited way too long, or you use like a very short period of planning time, at least meet with them over like Zoom call, phone call, something. And make sure that they're going to be okay with other media people, especially if you're going to book both photo and video. Yeah, I mean, those are gonna be huge aspects. And then just like, I don't know, like, you want to make sure that they're hungry. Like, if they're shooting like 40 to 60 weddings a year, I don't know if they're gonna be very hungry, and they're just gonna be cookie cutter for your wedding. Typically that's how it goes. I feel like there gonna be a lot of like cookie cutter deals. I like to shoot. I like to top myself out max probably 20. I think I shot 2021 and I shot 20 weddings, and I was actually kind of miserable, honestly, only shooting 20 weddings. So I just felt like my creativity suffered because of that. So I'd recommend somebody who's maybe not shooting a whole lot. My goal is to start divvying up my work and getting more people to help out. So help out maybe with like shooting engagements, stuff like that. I mean, and as I told you, you got to meet your photographer, videographer. Make sure you're also who's going to be showing up at your wedding. This is like a gold point right here. Because I actually work for companies all the time because I didn't want to edit a whole lot of weddings this year. So I shot a bunch of weddings this year, but I didn't edit a whole lot of weddings because I shot for this company. I'm not going to mention the company's name because I don't want to like trash them or anything like that. But the company basically does a ton of weddings, like all over the U.S. So they just hire out people. So they've got like an editor, and they've got maybe a couple editors, and then they've got bunch of shooters they just hire out and contract out, and then you're gonna get like, you can't tell what you're gonna get at that point. Like, you really like their stuff, but they're only putting their best stuff out there. Then unlikely to put a bad video out there because they're just doing so many of them. They're like, okay, we can only post like our good stuff in our portfolio. You could, like, the person you talk to could not even be the person who shows up. I'm not even allowed to contact people. Like, I'm not allowed to contact anyone until the day of the wedding, and like that's awful for me because I have to really get some details down. I have to get to know the couple. Like, that's just how I shoot. Like, I gotta be able to know things before I go into something. I don't like to go into things blind, especially someone's like, it's the biggest day of their life. I don't like it. But if you are all about it, go ahead. You're probably gonna get a little bit better deal, but you're not gonna get a very personal experience. Keep that in mind. It's kind of a trade-off for that. But I hope that was really helpful. I hope you guys got a lot of information out of this video. I know I went over a couple things, a lot actually. I went over the venues, kind of the basics to planning and finding those venues. And then I also went over photography, videography. And these might even be split in 2 videos, so you might be watching one, but I'm probably going to put the same exit into both if it can. I don't know. I don't shoot a whole lot of live videos. I actually shoot a lot of live videos at my church, but that's different. So but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm just kind of rambling at this point, so tune in every Monday if you want to catch these videos. Monday at 7. So we're gonna start at 7. Make sure you get there early. I'll try to start the live stream 5 minutes before. It'll be on just like a regular screen. And if you want to be asking questions, be very interactive, go ahead. Like, I'll be checking out this chat box. I gotta get used to checking the chat box. I don't think I checked it very much. I kind of checked to make sure if I had any viewers or not. But yeah, we're just getting this thing started. So you could get like all your questions answered, honestly. I'm gonna start to have guest speakers on too, like wedding planners, people who do like makeup, even florists, DJs, like everybody I can find, venues, like coordinators, all those things. So I want to get all those people on here and have them really kind of give their opinion, and not just me talking about my point of view and kind of what I've seen. I've seen a lot of it, but I'm not the expert, so, in all of it. So we'll find those people, we'll find the experts, and we'll get you guys that information. So yeah, if you guys want to see more of these videos, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification. Bell notification notifies you when I post a new video, when I'm going live, stuff like that. So make sure you guys hit all those like notifications if you want those, or just make sure you tune in Monday at 7, or watch the reruns, but you're not going to be able to ask the questions. So that's the one trade-off to the reruns. And then also, if you guys want to sign up for my blog, go ahead, and I'm going to leave the link down in the description below. You're going to be able to find my blog. That's going to have a lot more information in it. It's going to be very specific and very detail-oriented, and it's going to be about very specific things. So, I'm going to post that video on my YouTube link, but for moving forward, a lot of that's going to be on my blog. So you maybe won't find it on some of those videos on YouTube. You're going to find them only on my blog, stuff like that. So I just kind of want to start driving more traffic to my website. I don't trust YouTube fully because I feel like this could be a very temporary thing. I don't know. So yeah, I'm trying to start to maybe steer people towards my website just to make sure, just in case, like, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? Heck, YouTube can shut your channel down. I don't know. They can shut my channel because I'm talking about it. I don't know. They probably won't. But yeah, so make sure you guys subscribe to that blog if you want more information. Email list. We'll give you information. I will only try to put useful information in the emails. Every once in a while, you might get like, "Hey, I'm doing free engagement sessions now," kind of deal. But you won't get a whole lot of that. You're gonna get mainly useful, valuable stuff that you can use to plan your wedding. So yeah, subscribe to that. Links will all be in the description below. Make sure you guys really check out that description. You're gonna have a lot of detail in there. I'm gonna leave all the stuff you're gonna need, all that in the description below. So, okay, cool. I was just rambling for a while, so I'll see you guys later. Let's end this thing.